It's an all-new episode of The Good Stuff. Mary's firing up the grill with juicy Greek chicken burgers, perfect for your backyard barbecue or easy weeknight dinner. Then, Owen Reeves is here with fresh ideas for spring planters that thrive in full sun or total shade. And we've got your go-to guide for travel and must-see spots across Canada. Plus, cheers to the long weekend. We've got the best Canadian swaps for your favorite international wines. Let's kick things off right now.
Today, we are making a little bit of a dish that is inspired by one of the producers here on The Good Stuff. We were thinking about what to make. I was like, I'm not really sure. And she was like, I would like the ultimate chicken burger, please. So I said, okay, let's make the ultimate Greek-inspired chicken burger. Does that sound good? Okay. I'm feeling very, very good about it. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. The first thing we need to get started on is obviously those burgers. So I've got a pound of ground chicken here. Now, the thing I love lately about ground chicken in general is it's pretty much always on sale. You know? You can get a pound of ground chicken for like $5 sometimes, which is an absolute dream. So I've got that pound of meat right in a big bowl, and now I'm just gonna add in some stuff. Now, chicken, unlike beef, tends to be a little bit more delicate, so you don't want to, it's a little stickier. So you wanna dry it out, which sounds bad, but it's actually gonna make it good. Stick with me here. You know when you start saying something and you're like, that doesn't sound good. It's gonna be good, don't worry about it. So the first thing I'm gonna add is a binder. So for that, I'm going in with about ½ a cup of breadcrumbs. Now, I'm just using the plain breadcrumbs that you get in that tub, kind of in the bakery section. They're usually kind of dusty looking, but they are gonna be perfect for this. You don't wanna use panko, because that's gonna give a little bit too much crunch and texture. These ones are seasoned already, which is gonna bring more seasoning in. You can also use the plain ones, that'll be good. Now into there, for a little bit of moisture, as opposed to using an egg, which is pretty normal in some sort of chicken burger mixture, I'm gonna go in with mayonnaise, which sounds kind of funny. I know. Guys, mayonnaise is my secret ingredient in so many things. The mayonnaise is going to bring it together and give it moisture, but the thing I love is that there is egg in here. There's also a bit of oil in here and flavoring. So it's gonna bring a lot of different notes, which is absolutely perfect. So 2 tablespoons of that mayonnaise is gonna go in. Perfect. Then we're gonna go in with some herbs. So in classic kind of Greek cuisine, you gotta have some dill. I love dill. So about 2 tablespoons of beautiful dill. And I'm also gonna do a little bit of mint. Now, if mint isn't your bag, feel free to leave it out, but it really adds a nice touch into these burgers. Again, about 2 tablespoons just so those leaves picked. I love mint. If you grow mint, do not put it in the same pot as anything else because it takes over. All right, now I'm just gonna chop that up. Nice and fine. You can go chunky as well if you're feeling it. I'm gonna go on the finer side. Immediately though, this smells so good. It's bright, it's fresh, it's delicious. If you wanted to as well, you could throw some parsley in here, a little bit of oregano. Oops, anything you want will be delish. So I'm gonna go in with those herbs. And then I wanna add, obviously, a little bit of garlic, because you gotta have garlic in a burger. So I'm going in with 2 cloves, just minced right on into the mix. So I've got those there, and I just go over with a rasp. This makes sure that garlic is really nice and fine. So every single bite is gonna have a little bit of that garlic in there, which is a dream. This is huge. I'm gonna do half of this clove. I really am into garlic lately. It's huge. Like, whoever is growing garlic is doing a really good job at making jumbo garlic. All right, about half of that one, add that in. Then sticking with the rasp, I'm also gonna add in the zest of ½ of a lemon. Sounds kind of strange, but it's gonna bring brightness into these. It's gonna be really, really tasty. So just zest over that lemon. And I always like zesting over the bowl because any of those essential oils are just gonna kind of shoot out of that lemon right into the bowl and you're gonna get the max flavor, which is gonna be a dream. All right, now we're gonna add in some spices. This is where you raid your spice cupboard. So the first thing I need is ½ a teaspoon of cumin. I love cumin, it's smoky, it's a little bit lemony. It's really, really tasty. So ½ a teaspoon of that is gonna go on in. Then I'm going in with half a teaspoon of dry oregano. Now, if you used fresh oregano, you don't need to add the dry, but it does have a little bit of a different flavor, which I really, really like. Again, kind of lemony, little herby, obviously. Then this is where you get to decide if you're a spicy gal like me, go in with anywhere from like half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of chili flakes. If you're not, maybe just a little pinch. I'm going big because I like things spicy. Perfect, perfect. All right, season that up with a little bit of salt, just about half a teaspoon of that. Little bit of fresh pepper as well. Perfect. Now this mixture is looking great, but as I said before, chicken is a little bit more tender and delicate than beef, so I like to get 2 forks and kind of just like toss it up, just until it comes together into a nice mixture. Now again, you see how tender that chicken is. It doesn't stay kind of separated like ground beef does, so it's gonna come together really, really easily. Basically just keep mixing it until it looks nice and combined, and all of those herbs and those breadcrumbs are all over everything. This is enough for 4 beautiful chicken burgers. So what I like to do is get my chicken mixture all mixed, and then I kind of draw an X through it. This is a very rough estimation of equal parts. So just do a little X. Feeling good? So that's about the size of 1 chicken burger. Now, before I start shaping that, I am gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan. I've got a pan here over about medium-high heat. I want a nice high temperature, because these burgers aren't overly thick, so they're gonna cook nice and quick, but you do want nice golden brown color. Then we're gonna get that chicken and form it into a burger. Now, I have a little bit of a tip when it comes to forming really any sort of burger, whether you're doing a beef burger or a chicken burger, is form it into a nice patty. If the mixture is a little bit sticky, wet your hands with a little bit of tap water. That's gonna make it so it doesn't stick to your hands. I know, it's a good tip. But then also in addition to that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your thumb and just press it down in the middle. What's gonna happen there is that meat tends to contract and kind of like ball up in the middle. If you don't do this, you end up with a giant meatball. We don't want that, we want a burger. So I'm gonna pop that into my pan. Let it do its thing. I'm gonna go give my hands a bit of a wash while that gets cooking. But now you just get to make toppings. And toppings are personally my very favorite part of any burger. You could top this off with any sort of classic stuff, your classic ketchup, mustard, relish. But I wanted to stick with that kind of Greek theme. So what I'm gonna do is quickly make a pickle, because I can never say no to a pickle. I love a pickle. So over here, I have got about 1/4 of a cucumber that I've just thinly sliced up. And I'm gonna pickle that with just a little bit of lemon juice. I used half of that lemon zest in those burgers. So I'm gonna go onto those cucumbers with a bit of that juice. The little bit of acidity is gonna just pickle it slightly and make it absolutely delicious. Little bit of salt. You could also add in some pepper, but I'm just gonna add in a bit of dill. Again, dill pickles. Yes, please. I love a dill pickle. Chop that on up, pop that on in. Give that a little bit of a toss as well. Perfect. Now, this is obviously not pickled. It's gonna just be nice and bright and fresh. But if you wanted to, you could put a little vinegar in there, set it aside, and pickle it a bit more if you feel like it. All right, that's looking beautiful to me. Our burger, she's not cooked, but this is TV, so we have some right over here, which is a complete dream. So I've got those nice and beautiful. See how golden brown those are? Because we press that thumb in, they're not doing that meatball situation. They're gonna be absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna bring these on over here. And then if you wanted, you could do a classic regular bun for these burgers. But I don't know if you've been like, you know, perusing the bread aisle of your grocery store. But there's these like pita bun situations. They're already split, so I've just toasted those up in the oven. We've got some here. Gonna pop them down. And then you're just gonna build a beautiful burger. Again, this would be beautiful on a regular bun, but I'm gonna pop down the bottom, and then we get to dress it up. So the first thing I'm gonna do, weirdly, going on with some tzatziki. Again, we're doing Greek style. Just store-bought tzatziki is gonna be beautiful. A little bit of, I'm gonna go feta now, because obviously, probably gonna do layers of feta. I love olives. I know not everybody loves them, but if we're doing a Greek, right, thank you. My best friend, Marissa, does not like olives, and I'm always like, this is the only thing we don't agree on. Yeah. They're salty and briny and totally delicious. They add just a pop to anything they touch. All right, now we're gonna grab one of those beautiful burgers. They're golden brown. That chicken gets really, really crispy, and because of that binder in there, it just brings it together, but they stay nice and juicy. So I'm gonna, actually wait, we're gonna do lettuce underneath. This is where you get to see Mary's brain working. Pop that burger right on top. little bit of some tomato on there, maybe a little bit of red onion. And we cannot forget about those beautiful, pickles. I almost forgot. Thank you, audience, for reminding me of the pickles. Pop those right on there. That's gonna be absolutely beautiful, bright and fresh. And then I also do love a little bit of Dijon, so I'm going on with some Dijon as well. This is gonna be arguably too big of a burger, but that's always a good thing. More feta, because of course. Let's do a little bit of that. All over top, perfect. And you just sandwich that together. And doesn't that look like an absolute stone cold stunner? Luckily, I have a big mouth. I'm gonna give it a go. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna throw it a break before I try to bite this. We gotta take a quick break, but we will be right back.
Up next, no green thumb, no problem. Owen's showing us how to build the perfect spring planters for sun and shade, with way less effort than you'd think. That's up next. Tomorrow on an all-new episode of The Good Stuff. Chef Lynn Crawford is here and whipping up 3 sides so good, they might steal the whole meal.
I am so excited.
Yes.
I can barely stand it.
I know.
Then, it's Jamie Oliver like you've never seen him before in a Canada versus UK showdown. Plus, we're turning up the style. From bobs to bold spring fashion, we've got your glow up covered. That's tomorrow on an all-new episode.
Old gardening dilemma. Well, have no fear because Owen Reeves is here to help you create the perfect planter. Hey, Owen.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great. We're talking plants, color.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do too. Okay, now before we dive into your tips, which I'm very excited about, you've got a little bit of a challenge for a couple of our amazing audience members today. All right, over here we have got Pina. Hello, Pina.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm up for the challenge.
Are you a gardener?
Okay, that's okay. That's
I
okay.
pretend I have a green thumb. I do not. Yes, I'm very excited. Okay, Pina's feeling good. And over here we have Cindy. Hi, Cindy. How's it going, Cindy?
It's great.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Are you a gardener?
I like to think so.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Owen, I'm very excited about this group. I think you are the main gardener amongst us. All right, Owen, tell them what they're going to need to do.
Okay, so the challenge today is we are doing combo planters. And in front of us, we have a group of mixed up plants. Some work in the sun, some work in the shade. And the challenge is for Pina, you are going to be making a sun planter. And Cindy, you're going to be making a shade planter. So you're going to have to dive into this group of plants, maybe arm wrestle a little bit. Pick your combo and get it planted, and you only have 30 seconds to get that all done. Shade, sun.
Got it.
Yes.
All right.
Got it? Okay.
You scoped out the plants a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, well, sure. Pina, I love this energy. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's get 30 seconds up on the clock and get planted. You're going, okay, we've got some plants.
Oh,
We're having
okay.
some, okay, interesting. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is excellent. All right, we've got, okay. Pina is doing a little more, she's planning.
I like this energy over here. Wow, this is coming together.
This is very nice, very nice.
I like how Cindy's just throwing things around.
Gladly have
And
either
cleaning
of
up the
these
mess.
planters.
I'm sorry, there's a mess.
No, this was more chaotic and less chaotic than I thought it was going to be. Pina, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Yes.
I tried.
You know what? I said that. I don't know which plants are the right plants. So, Owen, tell them how they did. Let's start over
So
here with
I'm
Pina.
going to start with Pina, and I have to say, you picked all sun plants.
Yeah!
Which is,
Yes!
so that's a win. That's a win by itself.
Yeah.
Because it was a total mix. They'll all work in the sun, and I think 30 seconds is hard to put a combo together. But I love the colors. We've got complementary colors. We got some fun textures.
Yeah.
I think you did a really good job.
Thank
You know what I like, Pina? I like that it's like tall and then it goes short.
I was told thriller.
Yeah.
I didn't get a spiller, but I got a filler.
Okay, that's okay. You were
Pina,
close.
that's
You
a
were
throwback.
close.
back. I loved that energy. Amazing job. All right, how did Cindy do?
Well,
Cindy-
I wanted that pink one, but I didn't
Ah,
have
you were
time.
slow.
I didn't quite have enough time. Well, I have to say also, you picked all shade plants. So I think we have real gardeners here in,
Can I
you
just
know,
say something?
in secret.
These really helped.
We gave a little cheat. Yeah.
That's okay, you figured it out. Those all work, and I love that even though you didn't get to pick your flower, I love all foliage in the shade. So that totally works, you know, and I love the textures and colors. So I think you guys both actually did amazing.
I know. This went way better than it did in rehearsal. Fantastic work, you two. Congratulations. You were both such great sports. Thank you for playing along.
Thank you.
Cindy, all right, you guys can head on over that way. Great job.
Imagine if
Great
they had
job.
a full minute.
I know.
It would have been like incredible
This
planters.
is literally better than any planter I've ever done. So wild. Okay, Owen, now we're going to break down some of your tips
Yes.
for sun and shade planters. So we're going to start with sun planters.
Yes, exactly. So see how we figured this out with the sun and sunshade. Shade. So this is really kind of, this is a little bit of like a tropical Skittles flavor, I
Yeah,
feel like I
yeah.
had with the color combo here. So this is for a hot, sunny location. I've got plants that are all going to be really happy getting lots and lots of sun. This is also going to be a pretty drought-tolerant combo, which I think is important for just about everything.
Yeah.
Again, we're mixing foliage plants. So here at the front with the oxalis and the sedum.
I thought this was a clover.
Shamrock.
Shamrock.
Shamrock, yeah.
go. Yeah, okay.
So these produce a little bit of a flower, but we mostly plant them. There you
See,
go.
I know things.
Mostly plant them for the foliage. And then we've got a lot of interesting kind of tropical. We've got dahlias, we've got hibiscus, which I love. And then this one in the middle is nemesia.
Ooh, nice.
Which is a really great kind of filler plant for texture. And then, of course, we'll finish it off with a trailing petunia in the front. So lots of fun color, and we're also mixing texture in. I love doing both of those things, because that way, if anything ever goes off bloom, you still have color and interest from the foliage plants.
I love that. This is really great. And I love the texture. Now, talk to me about the, like, are there any plants in here that are a little bit tricky or something?
Yeah, so dahlias can be, so these ones are actually a lot easier than the ones, so some dahlias are huge
They're like a dinner
flowers.
plate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those ones are a little harder to grow. So these dwarf dahlias, a lot easier. They're kind of a bushy plant. The only thing you want to do with these is deadhead them. It really helps to prolong the bloom. I like deadheading the hibiscus as well. It doesn't make them bloom more, but they look a little messy when
Yeah.
they're finished.
Yeah.
Everything else, the nemesia are self-cleaning, the petunias are too. You don't need to deadhead them. But if you can do a little bit of just pluck the flowers off, that'll help extend the bloom time and keep them looking tidier.
I love this. This is beautiful. Beautiful full sun planter.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move over here to the world of the shade planters. What's
So
going
we
on
can
here?
see I've done all foliage. So there's nothing flowering in this planter. And this is something I actually do a lot in the shade because A, we have some very, very cool looking plants that grow in the shade
Yeah.
that don't have to rely on blooms to produce color and interest. So we've got Rex begonias here, which I love these.
They're so pretty.
Yeah, tons of texture. Sometimes these will produce a flower later in the season, but usually not. Then we've got ferns. There's, I mean, a zillion kinds. For the most part, they want to be in the shade.
Okay.
Some can take a little bit of sun. This is golden pothos, which is a really common house plant. This can easily go outside in a planter, grows a whole bunch when it's outside. So feel free to trim this back.
Ooh, that's pretty.
So they're just going to spill over in the front. This guy here is a plant I'm using a lot these days. This is called angel wings.
It's so soft.
Right?
Yeah.
It's one of those where you just want to touch it,
Yeah.
you know? It's like, it looks fake almost,
Yeah.
but really, this also works in the sun. So if you want something for the sun or shade, that'll work. And then we were talking about this before. This is caladium.
This is beautiful.
This plant in the top. So this comes in a lot of different, very funky colors, huge leaves. I love that it really blows, even in a gentle breeze, the leaves move around.
Yeah.
Love that movement. And but this only in the shade. If
Okay.
you put this in the sun, it will scorch.
Yeah.
So make sure you're only putting this in the shade, and this will give you lots of color and drama through the whole season. And this is just going to absolutely explode and kind of spill out.
Yeah.
Very easy care as well.
Absolutely beautiful. I love this. Oh my gosh, see, this is what I need for my front porch, for
Right?
sure. Now, do you have any general tips, kind of no matter what light you have?
Yes, number one is always fresh soil. So this is a thing I find people might reuse the soil from last year. If you have a small container like this, you should probably be replacing all the soil every year. Put this in your garden. It works great in the garden, the old soil. or top dress it in the lawn. Perfect for that. It's great for overseeding the lawn, actually.
Oh, nice, in the fall,
so
yeah.
use that, always fresh soil, and learn what the watering needs are with your plants.
Yeah.
For the most part, you don't ever want things to completely dry out, but it's very easy to overwater as well. So
Okay.
always err on the side of underwatering until you get it figured out.
Okay, fantastic. I love that, Owen. Now, if we've got any green thumbs in the audience, I think there's we got a little giveaway for the audience, don't we?
We have a fun giveaway,
Yeah, we do.
right?
Okay, what do we got?
So thank you so much to Jocelyn's Soil Booster. Everyone is going home with probiotics for plants.
Yeah. We're into it. Yeah.
This is actually worm manure,
Okay.
aka worm castings, which is an amazing natural organic fertilizer. Little goes a long way. And what this is going to do is really feed the soil.
Yeah.
And if you've got healthy soil that's working the way that it's supposed to, the plants are way happier. They grow better. Drought tolerance is better. So I love this stuff.
Thanks so much to Healthy Planet for that.
And thank you to Van Marie Nurseries for all these beautiful plants.
Yes, amazing. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Coming up, looking to get away this long weekend? We've got last-minute escapes and hidden gems from across Canada.
From coastal escapes to outdoor adventures, Winston C is here to help you plan your next adventure. Hey, Winston.
Hi, Mary. Good to see
Good
you.
to see you too. Okay, I'm very excited about this. Now, you've got some different itineraries to help us explore different regions in Canada.
And it is such a great time to focus right here at home.
Yeah.
We've got so many great road trips and places in Canada. So we've picked 3 really great road trips to highlight today.
Okay, I'm excited. I'm feeling pumped about it. All right, let's explore Canada. So the first one, this is for people who are looking for a little rest, a little relaxation.
A little R&R.
Yeah.
And so our first trip takes us out west, and we are going out to the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia.
Okay, nice.
And we've got some friends in the audience from out west as well.
Yeah.
So the Sunshine Coast, I mean, just take a look at this postcard. Isn't that
know,
stunning?
already, how about,
Yeah. Sunshine Coast is great. It's a short ferry ride away from Vancouver. And once you are there, you can really get a good mix of different things to do. So our first stop on this Sunshine Coast road trip is Gibson. So Gibson's great because you've got beautiful coastlines. You've also got lots to do, including this charming town, great artisans. So if you want to check out a bakery, you've got access to that. And you've also got a really scenic waterfront for dining. Right? And when I think about these types of road trips, I like a really good mix of exploring, but I'm also a big foodie, so I like to be able to check that out. So you get that in Gibson.
See, I love that. There's so many different things to do. Also, that coast, come on.
Right? Yeah, like I could
my
make that the
gosh.
wallpaper on my phone.
1,000%. And you can take the picture yourself if you take
Exactly.
that trip. That's absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
BC, what a stunner.
So from Gibson, we're going to go to Seashelt. Seashelt is also great because you've got you've got access to beautiful beaches. You can also go kayaking on a really serene waterfront. Again, I walk along the beaches too.
Yeah.
And then from Seashelt, we've also got the Skookumchuck Narrows, and this is where you've got these beautiful rapids.
Yeah.
And so if you want to
wow.
be a little bit more active, you can keep that kayak with you and go kayaking through these rapids. So again, something for everybody, whether you want to sit back and go to a bakery or restaurant or you want to go kayaking the rapids. But again, picturesque, postcard, perfect place to really go on that road trip. And again, not too far from Vancouver.
That's absolutely amazing. I love that. Okay, now we've briefly kind of dipped our toe into the world of foodies. So what about for a foodie itinerary?
So for foodies, we're going from the West Coast to Quebec in the Laurentians. We are going to the Laurentian Mountains in Quebec.
Okay.
Again, beautiful postcard here.
Yeah.
And so in Quebec, especially if you go to this part of Quebec, you've got access to Mont Tremblant. Who's been to Mont Tremblant?
Okay. Oh, we got some hands. We got some hands.
Tremblant.
Nice.
Are you into winter activities?
I'm into looking at winter activities from inside. Yeah.
So you're more of an après ski
Yes,
than the
yeah.
actual ski.
Yeah.
Same. So if you are into those winter activities like zip lining, I could see you doing this, Mary.
Okay. Actually, that I could do. Very
Right.
little, yeah.
Right. So what's nice about Tremblant Resort is you've got the perfect balance of winter activities, even fall activities, fall colors, right? Or this is more our speed, where you can snack on some oysters, have a glass of wine, and check out some of their local cuisine. So Mont Tremblant is the first stop. The second stop is the Route des Belles Histoires. And Belle Histoire, of course, beautiful history in Quebec, and Quebec is so rich with that history. So whether that's checking out some of the museums, learning about the history that really made Quebec its unique place, you're able to do that too, which I really like. And you know, when I think about these road trips, it's a great opportunity to turn these trips into an educational opportunity for your kids, right?
Yeah, totally. I love that. I do love a museum. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and then the third stop is Val David. Val David, again, a super quaint area. Val David is fantastic because you've got the ability to really check out these again, artisans and markets, but also farm-to-table dining. It is one of the beautiful places within that part of Quebec where you can check out some great local cuisine.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so art and food, fantastic. Love a foodie trip. And this is surprising for some people, but I feel like an itinerary for a bit of an adventure. Sometimes I'm a little adventurous.
Yeah?
A little.
Okay, well, what about tides? Would you like to see kind of nice high tides?
I love tides, Winston. You actually don't understand how much I love the tides.
Good to know. Okay, so we're going from the Bay of Fundy we're going from Quebec to the Bay of Fundy in New Brunswick.
Nice.
Yeah,
yes.
right? And so, again, a beautiful place on the East Coast now. And so our first stop takes us to Hopewell Rock.
Yes.
And it's actually one of the world's highest tides, where you can see one of the world's highest tides. Fantastic because you've got these beautiful tides. You've got these high vistas that you can take pictures at. So you go during high tide and low tide because you can really get access to the beach. But once the high tides come over, you can also see the water kind of push in, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So that's the first stop.
Honestly, so cool. It's the
so
moon.
cool.
The moon does that, guys.
The moon, right?
The moon is what does the tides.
And if you don't know, read up on how tides work. It's super cool, and
Yeah.
you get to see it happen right in front of you.
Yeah.
From the tides, you can go into the park. Fundy National Park is such a gem of a place.
That's beautiful.
And if you like to hike, again, a really great place to do that. But you've also got these cascading waterfalls.
Yeah.
And there's such a range of them where you can really make a whole day out of that, which, again, great for social media.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about the gram.
Yeah, I love it.
And then the final stop is St. Andrews by the Sea. And Mary, you said you've been to the original
I've
one?
been to the original, the one in Scotland, but I've never been to the one in New Brunswick.
So there's one in New Brunswick where you've got this village. You can also take a boat out and take a look at the bay there. But you've got great artisan markets where you can buy some cute trinkets. You can check out those bakeries and restaurants too. So again, same as the West Coast, you really have that access of activity where you can venture and hike, but then you can also check out and just relax and check out some of the local cuisine, which I love. And the East Coast has such a unique flavor profile from the West Coast.
East Coast.
So do both.
Oh my gosh, I love this. Honestly, this is great. Canada, we got it all, guys.
got
This
it
is
all.
so great. Winston, that was really, really great. Great job. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Up next, proudly Canadian. We've got the perfect wine swaps to help you enjoy your favorites and shop local.
Is Beverly Crandon. Hey, Beverly. How's it going?
Fantastic, fantastic. Always excited to talk about Canadian wine.
I mean, we do it right, but I feel like a lot of people think old world wine is kind of where it's at, but Canadian wines are world class, right?
Absolutely. Listen, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Clap for that. Listen, you know what? People take for granted the complexity in the varied wines that we have here in Canada. Like, for example, we in Ontario have 3 major appellations, and those appellations are broken down to sub-appellations, and so on and so on and so on. And we do that because depending on where you are, the geography is different. Your climatic factors are going to be different. Are you closer to the water? So I can grow a grape here in this part of the country and grow that same grape on the other part of the country and produce 2 different expressions of that grape. So Chardonnay is a good example. Right? You have many different styles of Chardonnay, and depending on what you like, you may want something that's very oaky, something that's more oak restrained. I can find you multiple styles of those wines in Canada. Just look in your own backyard. We are world class.
I love that. Okay, so we are going to start. We're going to break down a few different varieties of wine. So we're going to start off with sparkling wine.
Yeah. You know what? We're starting off with the tip of the iceberg. Some of the most basic, sought-after, international type wine styles. And so sparkling, we all love bubbles, right?
I do. Yeah, I love a bubble.
But this is from my Prosecco fan. So if you love Prosecco, right? If you love the orchard fruit, that mousse on Prosecco, then you're gonna love what we have here, which is a light haul progression is what it's called.
Okay.
It's a sparkling wine. So both of these wines are going to be light, fresh, effervescent, very approachable bubbles.
So this is the Italian Prosecco.
Correct.
That I'm having.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep.
Gotta love a Prosecco.
And now try that light haul progression.
Okay.
One of the really exciting things about this light haul progression is that it's made from a grape called Vidal. And Vidal is brilliant because it, especially grown here in Canada, in Ontario, it retains its acidity, but it has natural ripe fruit on the palate.
I was literally gonna say that, Beverly. I'm drooling in a good way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what that will do. So again, if you love like the lemon and pear and white peach from Prosecco, you'd love something like this light haul progression, which is homegrown Ontario, Prince Edward County.
Absolutely stunning. I love that. Now let's move on to the world of white wine, like flat white wine.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is for my Chardonnay lovers, and there's a lot of that. We sell a lot of Chardonnay here in Canada. But this is specifically for the folks who love New World Chardonnay that is showing purity of fruit and some restrained oak. This is what this is. Our local or Canadian Chardonnay is the 3XP Chardonnay from Ontario. Then we have a Chardonnay that's also from New Zealand.
Oh, in New Zealand,
I
okay.
picked these two because they both come from cooler climates. Where that is, the one from New Zealand, the mesoclimate where those grapes are grown, very cool climate factors. And so obviously being from Ontario, this is a cool climate Chardonnay. So what I love about this, especially being cool climate, it's a good balance of acidity and fruit, which is exactly what you need when you're doing food and wine pairing. Like you would know.
This would be so good with food.
See, exactly.
And it's so good as is. Oh my gosh, that's stunning.
And that's what you're looking for.
So where is this one from, did you say?
So this one is from right here in Ontario.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, now moving on. We are getting into rosé season.
Yeah.
And I'm personally happy about that. So what do we have going on here? What do we have? The Old World and Canada.
Yeah, totally. So what we have is a rosé from the south of France. Because when people think of rosé, you think that classic style from the south of France, right? Great aromatics, love the complexity and character. And what I have with that to compare with that is a rosé from Leaning Post, which is right here from Beamsville in Ontario. And what you'll notice when you try the Leaning Post rosé is that it's got some of the same elements that we love and expect from a classic Southern France type rosé, but with its own twist, with an Ontario Canadian twist.
Do you know what? Okay, I feel like I'm getting a little more berry.
Am
I right?
Look at you! Great! So with the Leaning Post, you get that bright, lifted red berry, cherry, great citrus, great aromatics. Did you smell that?
Yeah, it smelled amazing.
Wonderful.
Summer, summer, summer.
Exactly. So if you love that kind of classic style of Southern Rhone, Southern France rosé, you would love Leaning Post. You'd appreciate that.
That is stunning. And the colors are also so similar. That's the thing. Like, there's the slightest difference, but you can tell a little bit more of that red fruit.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And it's really good with food, right? Like on the patio in the summertime, my rosé is going with steak and it's also going with fish. I don't care.
I love this energy.
All of it.
First thing I thought of, weirdly, blue cheese.
Oh my God.
Right?
You're making me so hungry.
I know, we're doing it. Okay, we're having a great time, Beverly. All right, now we're moving into the world of red wine. I feel like a lot of people think, okay. I see you. I love red wine. I really love red wine also in the summertime. You just have to choose the right one. So what do we got going on?
So good point that you said that, because this is a Pinot Noir. We're doing Pinot Noirs right now, which is a lighter skin grape.
Yeah.
Which means it's fantastic on the patio. Put it in the fridge, get it to 15 degrees and sit and sip. It's so good.
Yes.
We drink red wine way too warm in this country. Anyhow. So we've got two. We've got Pinot Noir that comes from Yarra Valley. And then we've got a Pinot Noir, again, coming from here in Ontario, the Cru Sauvage. What I love about Pinot, and if you are someone who loves those food-friendly, balance of savory elements and fruit, you will love and understand that Canadian Pinots can go head-to-head if that's your flavor profile that you love. Being in a cool climate, we are able to produce Pinot Noirs that balance that, right? And also great acidity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is all of those things.
Yeah. So here you're gonna get that lifted berry as well, but you're also going to get earthy notes, savory notes, but then that fruit and savoriness adds more complexity onto the palate.
1,000%. And you know what I'm getting? That classic Pinot Noir, a little dry.
Yeah.
Little dry of the tongue.
Yeah.
What a delight, Beverly.
But great with food.
So good with food. Thank you so much. This is absolutely amazing. What a delight. What a fun little segment. All right, now studio audience to help help you introduce you to even more great wines. Thanks to Beverly, you're all going home with 2 tickets to the Spring Into Spice Food and Wine Festival 2025. Enjoy it, so much fun. We gotta take a break. We'll be right back. Oh, that was so good. Thank you so much. The iconic Montreal brunch spot, Arthur's, is a family affair that serves up Jewish classics to customers who routinely line up around the block. Now, we get to recreate some of their signature dishes at home with the help of their brand new cookbook, Arthur's, Home of the Nosh. Everyone, please welcome the authors and co-owners of Arthur's, husband and wife duo, Reagan Steinberg and Alex Cohen. Hello, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I am doing so well, and I'm very excited because huge congratulations on this absolutely stunning book. It is so beautiful, and I'm so grateful personally for you sharing your beautiful recipes with us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
First off, family.
Yes.
It's really the core kind of thing at Arthur's. Arthur was actually your father, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. He was the inspiration behind the whole restaurant.
Was he someone who loved cooking and sharing?
I think he just loved food
Yeah.
and everything about food, and he really instilled with me.
They're looking at pictures of you as a baby. Yeah.
Yeah, he had big muscles. He just really instilled with me like the love for food.
Yeah,
So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Today we are going to do kind of a version of a pancake. What are we making today?
Oh, we're about to talk. Yeah, so this is a cheese blend. Blah, 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 blah. I can say that 3 times fast. Cheese blends. This is like a classic Ashkenazi treat. You can have it either like with your coffee, for breakfast, as a dessert. It's delicious. We've kind of made it our own. We've zhuzhed up the filling a little bit, and of course the toppings. So that's basically what we have here today.
Okay, let's get going on this. So
Okay.
how do we make your cheese linses?
Okay, so I'm gonna let my lovely wife
I'm gonna be the Vanna White.
I
do
like this.
the
This is very nice.
mixing. Okay,
Yeah.
so you gotta mix it well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's first step.
You never want to be chasing the egg yolks around a bowl. I always pre-whisk the yolks because otherwise you're just going to be running around after them. All right.
Perfect. All right, once you've mixed those and they're all homogeneous, you're gonna wanna start adding your fats.
Okay.
So you're gonna start adding your sour cream.
Okay.
Just
Love
put
this.
that
Yes,
in.
chef.
Oil. So this is any neutral oil you want, preferably non-inflammatory oil, as they say nowadays, right? So you mix that in. Once that's fully homogenized, then after that you want to start adding your butter.
I love the fact that there's oil and butter in this.
Keep going, keep going, keep
This is a good energy.
All right.
Oh
now
my
we're
God, is it
slowly-
working?
Then you just want to drizzle in just like you would anything else.
Okay. So a blintz is almost kind of like as opposed to a pancake, it's a
Yeah.
little bit more like a crepe, right?
It's way more like a crepe.
Yeah.
And the difference between a pancake and a crepe, one is the amount of liquid and the amount of eggs. And also your end result, you don't want it clumpy. You
Yeah.
want it as smooth as possible.
That's true. Whereas with a pancake, you want to keep those lumps
You want to keep those up because it
with the
helps it
texture
rise
and
and it gives it that nice chewy texture.
Totally.
All right, so then after that, what you're gonna wanna do here, I'm gonna help you out a little bit,
Okay.
is we're gonna create a little bit of a well.
Okay.
And then you're gonna pour that into the flour, Reagan.
All of it?
See, this
Yeah,
is the
all of
hardest
it.
part.
Just go for it. And
That
then
is a really nicely whisked mixture.
This, she
you.
did
Yeah,
a great job. All right, so here we have the actual crepe recipe. Done and it's been rested. So now what we're gonna do is, we're never gonna pour, because you don't want a lot of fat. You're going to
That's-
want to brush it ever so lightly.
It's the thing, if you get too much fat, then the crepe almost like
Bubbles.
it bubbles and spiders out. Yeah,
Exactly.
you get little holes in it.
Exactly. So we let that heat up for a little moment.
Okay.
I'm gonna move this. And now, a lot of people tend to pour their batter directly in the middle and then kind of turn it around.
That's what I do. Am I
That's
about
what
to
I
learn
do for
something?
pancakes too.
Okay.
And then when I created the book,
Yeah.
this is when I learned, years after doing crepes for my children,
Yeah.
that the trick is actually, you want to tilt it here,
Okay.
and then you want the crepe to actually work itself around the actual
So
pan.
this is nice. You're not doing the dinner and a
So
show where
as
I'm
the
just like.
heat- So as the heat comes together, it
Yeah.
basically starts to cook. It
Ah,
starts to
look at
form.
that.
That beautiful.
And then you don't get this really runny, weird, waggly
Yeah.
kind of crepe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right here, right here,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to want to always make sure that with crepes, with especially blintzes, you always want to stuff on the colored side.
Okay.
So that when you roll it, you get the nice color and it's not overly colored on the
On the outside?
on the outside,
Totally.
the side you're kind of showing.
I'll stuff you full. You're an excellent burrito.
I've never heard her
fold.
say that
I was
before.
So So we've got a
Okay, you
beautiful
tell me
cheese
when.
filling.
Okay, beautiful cheese filling.
Okay.
More? Good.
So a little bit more, and typically on the next one, you might want to go a little lower. It makes
Okay,
my job a lot
okay.
easier.
She's making it difficult for you there.
She is.
Yeah.
It's my
Okay,
literal
so just
job.
like a burrito, like anything else you were to do to roll up, you want to make sure you do the corners.
Okay.
Then you kind of want to drag it in
Tuck
and
it.
make sure that you're tucking it, so that in
Tuck
the
and
end,
roll.
you kind of have this beautiful little
Gorgeous.
pop.
I am so excited about this. All right, then we pop that into a hot pan with a bit more of that butter.
Yeah, but this is where you want a little more butter than you would need for frying
the-
your
got it,
crepes.
got it.
Right?
Okay,
Because this is
perfect.
where you kind of want bubbling.
Look at these beautiful blintzes. Okay, so what do you top them with? Yeah, absolutely stunning.
Inside we have the cheese. On top, we do a very nice mix of berries, like a mixture of berry jam. We do sour cream, right?
Okay,
and
okay.
how you layer is very, very important.
Oh, no, did I do that?
No, you did a wonderful job. You did exactly what you're supposed to do.
okay.
Jam first,
Okay.
sour cream after.
Yes, I did it right. Oh my gosh, I got a gold
Right.
star in blintz.
You did
Okay.
right. And this is great to do with your kids because then they can plate it however they want.
Oh,
and you can have a
gorgeous
bunch of different
dollop.
toppings.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this is an
She's done this
absolute.
before.
Thank you so much. I've dolloped in my day. I'm not gonna lie.
So then we want to place the strawberries on top.
Okay,
If
here
you
we
want,
go.
I can help you with
let's
one
go.
of these. We'll do a nice little
And it's so
pretty
fun because when it's
kind of
strawberry season,
thing.
you can do strawberry, you can do blueberry,
Blueberries,
blackberry,
peaches, everything you want.
peaches.
Now, I would like you to take some of the meringue in your hand.
Crushed meringue.
Okay, yeah. So what I like to do is I like to take a little bit of crushed meringue and I crush it.
Yes.
Kind of like snow.
Oh my gosh, look
So
at
it
that.
kind of looks like powdered sugar, and then the rest you kind of like let it drop.
Keep it crunchy.
Keep it crumpy, keep it soft.
Oh, you forgot
And
the most
then
part.
the most important part is the salt.
A little bit of salt.
Salt, if you don't put salt on your desserts, you're missing out.
Get out of here.
Get out.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex Reagan, thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
being
much
here
for
today.
having me.
Huge congratulations on this absolutely stunning book. And studio audience, thanks to Reagan and Alex. You're all going home with a copy of Arthur's Home of the Nosh. We gotta take a break, but we'll be right back. Oh my God, thank you so much. That was awesome. Got a cluttered space that needs organizing? Here's the inspiration you're gonna need to finally tackle it.
Hi, my name is Emmy. I'm a content creator, and on social media, I have a series where I'm taking care of the things I've been procrastinating. I have 2 small kids, so our house gets really messy really quickly. So this is a list of areas that are cluttered and feel really overwhelming, and I am slowly chipping away at that list. Today, I'm tackling our entryway bench. It's kind of like a little mini mud room. It's one of the only areas of storage we have in our house, which is not ideal. It's also one of the first things you see when you walk into the house, and I don't want the first thing you see to be clutter. So we gotta take care of it. When a space is no longer functional, that's how I know it's time to make a change and do some decluttering. When I do a big declutter like this, the first thing I do is take everything out of the space and lay it all out so I can see what I have. As I'm decluttering, I'm thinking about a couple things. I'm thinking about whether or not we have duplicates of an item, if it's broken, if my kids don't use it anymore. If I'm questioning whether or not to keep something, I'll consider the 20-20 rule, which is if the item is gonna take me more than 20 minutes to replace or cost more than $20 to replace, then I'll keep it. If not, it goes. After I've decluttered and gone through what we have, I'll put everything in their new bins. This is my favorite part. It can totally transform a space to get some new bins. I love cute bins with lids to hide all of the bulky, not cute things that you have. After everything is in the bins, I'll go back to the space and I will wipe everything down and give it a nice, fresh, clean start before I add the bins back in. Okay, now it's time for the most satisfying part, which is putting your pretty bins back on the shelf. As you're planning and putting things back, remember ease of access, which means that everything you use the most frequently needs to be the easiest to reach up and grab. Every family needs a returns bin for things like returns and Tupperware that needs to go back to your family. Also remember that when you have less, it is so much easier to organize and it just looks better. So really get rid of things during that declutter phase. I absolutely love how this turned out. I think it looks so much better. It looks fresh and clean. And it just looks so much better when you walk into the house and that's what you see at first and not just a bunch of clutter. Let this be your proof that even small spaces can still be functional and beautiful. Okay, bye.
Thanks so much, Emmy. I'm definitely using that 20-20 rule. That is our show for today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more of the good stuff.